What if I told you that love, that all-consuming, world-altering, can't eat, can't sleep feeling, isn't really an affair of the heart? What if that deep, profound connection a woman feels is actually a carefully orchestrated chemical symphony happening inside her brain? It's a series of biological triggers and psychological imprints, refined over thousands of years. Now understanding this isn't about manipulation. It's about something far more powerful, true empathy. It's about learning the hidden language of love so you can finally understand what's going on inside her mind. And maybe inside your own. For centuries we've tried to capture love in poems, songs, and art. We talk about soulmates and destiny. But science tells a different, and, honestly, a more fascinating story. It turns out love isn't just some mysterious force. It's a biological and psychological process. It's a drive as powerful as hunger, and it all kicks off with a cocktail of brain chemicals that completely shape our reality. Today, we're going to decode the secret psychology of how women, specifically, experience love and attraction. We'll explore the hidden drivers, from that first intoxicating spark to the deep, lasting bond we're all searching for. By the end of this, you won't see love as a random mystery, but as a powerful neurological process you can finally understand, nurture, and build on. And this whole journey starts not in the heart, but in the brain's reward system. With one single powerful chemical dot, it all starts with a spark, that initial, electric feeling of attraction. You meet someone and suddenly the world feels like it's tilted on its axis. What's happening? Your brain is getting flooded with a potent neurochemical called dopamine. Dopamine is the molecule of motivation, pleasure, and reward. It's the same chemical that gets released when we eat incredible food, hit a huge goal, or even when using substances like cocaine. Love, right at the beginning, literally hijacks this reward pathway. So when a woman is attracted to someone, her brain unleashes a surge of dopamine, creating an intense feeling of euphoria and laser focus. This is the engine of the famous honeymoon phase. All of a sudden, that one person becomes the center of her universe. And that's not just a poetic idea. It's a neurological fact. The dopamine system narrows her focus and makes her crave the source of this new amazing pleasure, the other person. It's her brain screaming, "Pay attention, this is important." Do that again, but dopamine doesn't work alone. It gets supercharged by another chemical, norepinephrine. This is the adrenaline-like substance that makes her heart race, her palms sweat, and gives her that boundless energy when she's around her new crush. Together, dopamine and norepinephrine create the classic experience of infatuation, the excitement, the obsessive thoughts, the sleepless nights, and the feeling that you're floating. But here's the thing. This state is, by its very nature, temporary. It's a biological sprint designed to grab your attention and kickstart a connection. It's thrilling and all-consuming, but it's not the whole story. For love to grow from a fleeting obsession into a lasting bond, the brain needs to switch gears and call in the architect of deep connection. Once the initial, dopamine-fueled intensity starts to even out, a much more subtle, yet profoundly powerful neurochemical takes the stage, oxytocin. You've probably heard it called the cuddle hormone or the love hormone. And for good reason. Oxytocin is the glue that turns fiery attraction into a deep, enduring bond. It's released during moments of physical closeness like hugging, holding hands, or being intimate, but also through deep, empathetic conversation. This is where the secret psychology of women and love gets really interesting. While oxytocin is crucial for both men and women, women's brains are uniquely tuned to its effects. Higher levels of estrogen can make oxytocin receptors more sensitive, which amplifies its power to create feelings of trust, calm, and psychological security. When a woman feels safe and truly connected with her partner, her brain is bathed in oxytocin, reinforcing her desire to keep that bond strong. It's not just a feeling. It's a biological command that says, this person is safe. This person is home. Oxytocin also works beautifully with dopamine. A regular release of oxytocin, through consistent affection and emotional support, can trigger a steady, sustainable release of dopamine. This creates a deeply rewarding feedback loop. Spending time together feels good, which makes you want to spend more time together, which strengthens the bond even more. This is why long-term relationships can feel so deeply satisfying. It's not about endlessly chasing that initial high, but about cultivating a consistent sense of security and attachment. This powerful chemical is what enhances empathy, builds trust, and even promotes fidelity by making a partner seem more attractive than strangers. It's the quiet, steady force building a shared history, turning two separate people into a team. So, why does the female brain have this complex system in the first place? The answer is buried deep in our evolutionary past. Evolutionary psychology tells us that love isn't just a romantic idea, but a critical survival tool. For women, historically, the biological investment in having children was enormous. Because of this, they evolved to prefer partners who showed signs not just of good genes, but of long-term commitment, reliability, and the ability to provide protection and resources. Romantic love, then, evolved as a powerful mechanism to create the long-term pair bonding needed to raise children successfully. The dopamine-oxytocin cocktail is the engine of this ancient strategy. The dopamine rush focuses her attention on one potential mate, and the oxytocin bond that follows ensures the long-term commitment needed to raise a family together. But biology is only half the picture. The other half is psychology, specifically our attachment styles formed in early childhood. Our attachment style is our personal blueprint for relationships. These styles, secure, anxious, or avoidant, shape how we give and receive love and how we handle intimacy and conflict. A woman with a secure attachment style will likely find it easier to trust and build those oxytocin-driven bonds. Someone with an anxious attachment style might need more reassurance to feel that same level of security, while someone with an avoidant style might feel smothered by the very closeness that releases oxytocin. Understanding how a woman's evolutionary wiring and her personal psychology work together is everything. Her brain isn't just reacting to you in the moment. It's filtering your actions through a lens shaped by millions of years of evolution and a lifetime of experience. This is why things like consistency, reliability, and emotional support aren't just nice things to do. They speak directly to the most fundamental parts of her brain. If you're finding this deep dive into the science of love fascinating, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. We explore topics just like this every week to help you build better relationships by truly understanding what makes people tick. Why? Navigating the inevitable shift asterisk. One of the toughest hurdles in any long-term relationship is navigating the shift that happens when the initial head-over-heels phase starts to fade. Research shows that while love remains a huge part of well-being for everyone, women sometimes report a steeper drop in those intense romantic feelings after the first few years of a long-term commitment. This can be confusing and scary, but when you understand the science, it makes perfect sense. This decline doesn't mean the love is gone or the relationship is failing. It's a natural and predictable neurochemical downshift. The brain simply can't sustain that high-energy, dopamine-fueled state of infatuation forever. It's metabolically expensive and emotionally draining. The end of the honeymoon phase is not the end of love. It's an invitation to enter the next, deeper phase, attachment love. The problem comes when we mistake that initial infatuation for love itself. When the dopamine high fades, someone who doesn't understand the process might think, "I guess I'm not in love anymore." The secret to a lasting relationship isn't desperately trying to get that first spark back. It's about consciously shifting your focus to activities that build oxytocin. This means prioritizing emotional intimacy, non-sexual physical touch, open communication, and proving you're reliable. Love isn't just a state you're in. It's an active process. It needs maintenance. You wouldn't expect a fire to keep burning without adding logs, right? In the same way, you can't expect a relationship to thrive without actively nurturing the bonds of attachment. It's about understanding that true, lasting love is less about the dizzying highs and more about the deep peace and security that comes from an oxytocin-rich connection. When you understand this science, you start to see common relationship problems not as character flaws, but as neurochemical missteps. First up is the mistake of ignoring emotional cues. When a man doesn't notice or respond to a woman's need for emotional security, he is on a biological level blocking the release of oxytocin. The fix? Emotional attunement. That means actively listening, validating her feelings, and creating the trust and safety needed for a deep bond to grow. The second mistake is an overemphasis on physical attraction. Look, physical chemistry is important, especially at the start. But building a relationship only on that, without nurturing emotional intimacy, is like building a house with no frame. For women, long-term connection is heavily reinforced by the non-sexual, affectionate behaviors that release oxytocin.